everybody. I just want to talk to you about setting up your test for this week. Not test like school test, but your experiment where you test the properties of matter of some items that you find around your house. Now, I just looked around the classroom. I spent about 5 minutes looking to see what types of things I had around the classroom, and I picked some things out to test. So I have a wooden rainbow decoration that I'm going to do. I have a dry erase marker, plastic. I have another plastic piece. This is a chess piece. I borrowed this from Mrs. Berry's classroom. I'm going to test the properties of matter of this. I have a metal fork, a shell, a wooden craft stick, and a leaf I ripped off my plant. So you can see just by looking at this array of objects that I have here that you don't need special items to test their properties for this assignment. You just need to look around and find some kind of everyday common things around your house. You could use pencils, pens, markers, metal utensils that you have in your kitchen, like a metal spoon or a metal fork, things like that. What we're going to do is we're going to test their properties and record the information in this sheet. So we're going to record the type of matter that it is, whether or not it's magnetic, its physical state, whether it's a solid, liquid, or gas, its relative density, which means does it sink or float in water, is it more or less dense than water, its solubility, which means does it dissolve in water, and I don't think any of these items are going to dissolve in water, they're all going to maintain their shape. And conductivity, which means conductivity is the one I really want to talk to you about. Does it conduct either thermal energy, which is heat, or does it conduct electrical energy? Okay, now because this is virtual learning, it really isn't practical for me to ask you to test whether or not something conducts electrical energy at home. That's not practical or safe. Instead, we're going to test whether or not these items conduct thermal energy using this container of hot water that I have here. And you can do this safely at home with your parents' permission. Do not do this without parent permission, okay? All right, so on my recording sheet, I'm going to record plastic chess piece, shell, craft stick, leaf, and then I'm going to leave the last one blank because the last one is going to be moon dough. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in, moon dough, but I'm not going to test the properties of my moon dough because we'll be doing that during our live lesson on Friday. Okay, so let's begin. Magnetism. Is our chess piece magnetic? I need to go get a magnet. Let's see. This is one thing I didn't prepare. I'll have to go get one. Physical state. All of these are solids. Solid, solid. I should have gotten a better variety of things. Okay, relative density. The only thing that I think maybe would float is this little piece of leaf. So I'm gonna rip this off and I'm gonna drop it in. This is my hot water, so I'm not gonna use this, but I am gonna use this container of water. It's more shallow. I'm just gonna drop this little piece of leaf in here and see if it sinks or floats, if I can get my camera to look at the water, which I can't. Yeah, it floats. Oh my gosh, if I dropped my iPad in this water, I would be in so much trouble. Hello friends, technical difficulties. Here's the leaf. See it floating? Okay. So, leaf floats. All right. So you would fill that in on your chart, and I'm not going to make you watch me do that, but you get the idea. And then the part I wanted to show you is this, how to test if something conducts thermal energy, okay? Now remember, thermal energy is heat. This is hot water. I put it in Mrs. Berry's microwave for about 2 minutes. And this plastic, actually, it does conduct heat because I can feel the warmth of the water through the plastic, but it doesn't conduct heat as well as, say, something that's metal would. Like if this was a metal container, I would not be able to hold it at the bottom without burning my fingers. So plastic, it somewhat conducts heat, but not as well as something like metal. Okay, so I'm gonna here's how you test this. You take your item, like let's say we were gonna do our metal fork. That's a good thing to do. Put it in the container of hot water. Let it sit for maybe, I don't know, 60 seconds or so. You can set a timer on your phone maybe. And then I can already see some steam gathering on my metal fork. And after it's been sitting for about a minute, you just touch the metal and see if it feels warm. Touch it far up, far away from the heat source, and touch it further down and see if you can detect a difference. But don't actually touch the water, because we're not trying to tell if the water is hot. We're trying to tell if the metal fork will conduct heat from the heat source, which is the water. Okay? And then you take each of the rest of your items, like I would take my leaf and put it in here, let it sit for about a minute, and then touch my leaf and see, is it getting warm? If it is getting warm, it's conducting the heat. If it's not getting warm, actually that's interesting. That gets really warm. Wow. I actually think this leaf is conducting the heat better. The fork is like barely even warm. And different types of metal will conduct heat differently. Some metal is designed and engineered to not conduct heat as a safety mechanism. My leaf is getting really hot. Oh my gosh. All right, so that's this experiment, and I'm gonna let you guys work on the rest of it on your own. Let me know if you have any questions.